back when we did it, which would have been
Good morning. Hope you're all having a great day. Cannot believe it's going to be 80 degrees again here in Georgia. It's November. We're going to be 80 degrees again. Then it'll rain and be 32. I hope y'all got great weather where you are. It's wonderful to see the fall colors and the fall trees. But we're going to talk today about something I got to share at conference. We got to celebrate 30 years, the 30th birthday of Juice Plus. What an amazing time it was. What's an amazing thought that me, my family, 4 generations of my family, we've been flooding our bodies with fruits and vegetables for 30 years. Where would we be? What kind of, can you imagine? I mean, I don't want to miss a day taking my Juice Plus. It's so amazing to wake up and have that just good feeling that you're flooding your body with the things that it needs. There's no way I could eat the recommended 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Or if you're an athlete or something, I think it gets over 16 to 20 servings of fruits and vegetables. But you know, one of the things I wanted to share with you is Lori and I, are, especially me, I think I've got something to share with you that is a perspective. I mean, first of all, I did have black hair at one point in time. That's what Lori and I looked like when we got started at 22 and 23 years old. And that's us in Chicago today. So we're so blessed, and it's exciting. But it's a lot of, that the Bible says that crown of white hair on my head, my daughter calls me Q-tip sometimes, is a crown, it's wisdom. So I'm claiming that it's wisdom. So I want to share one thing with you that I think I have gleaned from my 30 plus years, almost 36 years in this business. And some of it happened before I got in this business, because I think I've got a nugget to share with you this morning. And the exciting thing is I can go in a little more detail, because in 27 minutes, I'm not going to have a clock flashing at me that says get off the stage, It's great. Maria did an amazing job at our conference, and I want to thank Maria and all those involved. But that flashing light telling you to hurry makes you kind of rush and you forget some things. So I'm going to maybe not have that happen and cover everything for you this morning. If you have any question, put them in the comments. If you want anybody to listen to what we're sharing today, put their name in here, tag them. They can listen to it live. They can listen to it later on the recording. Hope, my daughter, is here to answer any questions you might have, and we'll try and do that in the comments. But when I was 13 years old, my parents got divorced, and I was able to see my mom with really no college degree, no background to make it easy on her to provide. She bought us the best tennis shoes, tennis rackets. We had the clothes that our peers had. And she had no real reason to have been able to do that after a divorce. My dad went bankrupt. They took our house, both cars, wedding rings, and it was quite a dramatic experience. But I saw my mom rise up out of that desperate place we were in, and she did it with a direct sales company. It was an aloe vera skincare company, and I'm telling you this because from the time I was 15 till I went off to college, I actually drove the box truck that delivered this aloe vera liquid to all these warehouses in the Southeast where they would have these parties and events. And I saw my mom. She ended up with a Mercedes. She ended up buying a house back nicer than the one we lost in the bankruptcy. So I saw that direct sales was a vehicle that could help a family recover from generational loss and create multi-generational income. So I'm telling you that because I think I know something that maybe some of you don't know because you've never been in this industry or never been in a business like this. I was prepared through tragedy and life experiences, the divorce and the bankruptcy. But God used that to let me see a glimpse of what this industry was like. Then I went off and got degrees from Emory and Georgia Tech and a Bible degree from Logos, a master's degree. And I never intended to get into direct sales. But I knew that it was a good industry. I was prepared for that. And this is when I really came up with this statement. I wrote a book about this, and this is not about me writing a book, but this is just what I began to believe. From that time at 13, when Gary O'Malley, kind of a surrogate dad for me, my dad really wasn't around in my life after my 9-year-old all-star baseball team. They got divorced when I was 17, actually, legally, but he was gone from the time I was 13 from home. And this man, Gary O'Malley, told me I needed a life purpose. And I began to think about that. I didn't understand it at 13, but it was a hook that was put in my mind. And I really began to believe this statement that everybody deserves to make a life, not just a living, because I saw everybody around me. Most people, not everybody, I would say most people around me, they got up, got dressed, went to work, spent, 60, 70% of their waking hours at a job, and the goal was to create a paycheck. There was no connection with their purpose, their passion, how God had wired them to how they created an income. So that's what drove me into understanding that today, we may not believe this, but recently in a survey this past spring, and this was from Dr. Tim Elmore, who founded Growing Leaders. He's one of the leaders of the John Maxwell organization, and he has his own organization within that called Growing Leaders. This is a statistic that even post-COVID, with all of the, people becoming more dependent upon government and a social structure, you would think everybody wanted jobs and that the entrepreneurial spirit might be dead in our country. Because I grew up, the American dream was to own your own business. But this past spring, 7 out of 10, actually 72% of high school seniors wanted to own their own business. So the dream is there, but so many people fall into a situation where they just wait in their idle dreams that never come to fruition. And I'm calling that the waiting game. I think COVID and the pandemic created a waiting game, and we can talk some more about that. But people are in this waiting game, and then they just, when their dreams become idle, they're there, but they don't see a path. They just fall into the traditional model of get a job, get a degree, get a job, float the resume, get a better job, find a spouse, find a house, have a child, get a better job. And a lot of people, they work hard and get a degree, and what they've ended up sharing with me is, I got my degree and I got a cubicle, a computer, and a commute, and it's really not what I thought it was going to be. It's not fulfilling. They're not able. They created a situation to create a paycheck versus to make a life that way they wanted to. There's even, believe it or not, there are whole industries. There's that cubicle. Just people, and that's not satisfying people, but there are whole industries today where someone is paid a commission on your wealth or a fee, and what they do is they direct you to get that job, to get a better job, get a resume, get a better job, and your life becomes about funding the 401k so that when you're 65 you can retire and enjoy life in just an amazing way. One of my dear friends that's, some of the people in this business, I don't make any money off them. They're not on my team. They're just leaders with me in this business. Sean and Jennifer Myers. I feel like they're my brother and sister, or Jeff Roberti, or Harriet, or Wendy, or whatever. I feel like I've got a connection with them, and I never forget. And I don't remember if it was like a financial newsletter or if it was a yachting newsletter, but there's this newsletter that unfolded right before me. It was sent to me, and on the left there was this amazing picture of Sean and Jennifer and Michaela and Jake, their daughter and son, and they were on this boat. Sean and Jennifer were in their mid-30s, and they were traveling around the world in this amazing boat, homeschooling their kids, experiencing the dream of a lifetime. That was on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side of this same newsletter was this 70-year-old couple that had just bought a boat, and they were sailing together by themselves, just the two of them, because their kids were busy and engaged, and they had missed that window of life. But they had amassed enough wealth to buy the boat when they retired, but they spent 30, 35 years making a living, and they missed that window of time. They didn't start making a life very early. And that was just upsetting to me. And so Lori and I decided that was not the right thing for us. But you know what? So many wait. What causes you to wait? I'm not sure that I know, but I'm thinking, okay, if you're waiting, is it fear? Is it, I don't know, maybe there's something you're listening to that's causing you to wait. Is there a sound playing maybe in your head. What is this sound playing in your head? What does it make you think? What does it make you do? Does it, when you look at a business like this or an opportunity, do you see this in front of you? This beautiful ocean, very inviting, toes in the sand. But because of what you have playing in your head, maybe it's from COVID, maybe it's just from a lack of you understanding what you feel like you need to do. But when you're staring at this amazing business, this amazing opportunity, this company, this product, but the sound playing in your head, that's all you see. It's not really what's in front of you, but you have something playing in your head that's causing you to think and react. It's causing you to wait. It's causing you to put your dreams on hold. I'll remember it wasn't a Jaws soundtrack and a shadow in the water for Lori and I, but we knew that we wanted her to be at home. We didn't want to put our kids in daycare 40 hours a week. She wanted to be a mom that was there for the family. And we talked about that, but it wasn't until one Sunday night that we made a decision that we weren't going to listen to that soundtrack playing in our head. We don't have enough money to start our own business. We don't have the time or the way to do this. We're both going to have to work the rest of our life and be a 2-income earner home. We didn't see a way for that to happen, so we continued to dream, but the soundtrack kept playing in our head. All of you remember this. Maybe that's what's contributing to the soundtrack in your head. I'll never forget being in that position. I don't know that I ever quite had the gloves and wrapped up like that in the store, but there was a panic for toilet paper. We all remember it. Whether you went and did it, you sent your spouse to go do it, or honey, stop by that store every day until they get some back in stock. If anybody understands, I said this live at conference, but nobody's still given me really a good explanation as to why a global respiratory virus made everybody buy all the toilet paper in the world they could buy. Just don't quite understand that. But I know that this put soundtracks in people's head. It was the fear of the unknown. What's next? The pandemic was real. Everybody in here on this call, watching this video now or as a replay, probably knows someone, family, friend, or a connected person, first or second hand, that maybe lost their life. It's been tragic. But what that did, whether it was to flatten the curve and it was going to be 2 weeks and 2.5 years later, we're still trying to flatten the curve. The truth was hard to find, and the fear of the unknown set in. And so we all have these soundtracks playing in our head. Even our founder and visionary, Jay Martin, I don't know if you all know this, but he had some fear in him, at least in one occasion. Now, I'll never be the storyteller that Jay was, but I'll never forget this story. And it was a moment in which Jay was afraid. Him and his buddies, he grew up in rural North Carolina, and he was a collegiate Division I basketball player. But in high school, they'd practice ball, and it'd be hot during the summer, and they didn't feel like it was doing any harm. There was a man who had a watermelon patch, and there were hundreds, maybe thousands of watermelons. And when they were hot and thirsty in the afternoon, they'd just sit down and grab them a watermelon. They didn't feel like it was stealing. They were just grabbing something that was in abundance. And maybe the farmer came out and shot a shotgun in the air or whatever, but they weren't really afraid that he was going to shoot them or anything. They just felt like it was part of the game, I guess. But then one day they were out, went to get a watermelon, and the farmer wasn't there with his shotgun. Jay and his friends went to get a watermelon, and they saw this big white sign. And on that sign, it said the farmer had taken a different tactic and not using his gun. He had put on the sign, "One of these watermelons is poison." Fear set in for Jay and his friends. What if they ate the wrong watermelon? But Jay didn't let fear grab him and hold him and keep him from moving forward. he decided to throw it back on that farmer and go on with life, that he wasn't going to let fear overcome him. They just crossed out the 1 on that sign, changed it to 2, and left, and went about their life and got back to normal. They didn't let fear stop them. What a great story. And Jay has stories like that. You ought to get his books. He's written a couple books, and one of them's about his stories. I think it's called Did I Ever Tell You That? Or Ever Told You That Before? Some amazing stories in there. But what would happen if Jay never stopped waiting, if fear had overtaken him and he'd never started the Juice Plus company? What if any of us, just waited and let fear control us? Well, I think one of the things that happened, and I think the biggest damage we received over the previous few years, is that we let this time at home go from binge watching and having fun with the family with Netflix and all the TV channels to this isolation that we succumb to. Can you picture a little dog with his paws on the window looking out at home by himself? And I think we spent years in isolation, and we forgot that humans need to be around people, and the real asset that we have is people. You know, we actually sell the #1 selling product of its kind in the world, the most researched product in the world. But you know what? That's not what our #1 asset is. Our #1 asset is our people. I did a little bit of research before giving this talk, and I reached out to the likes of Wendy Campbell and Jeff Roberti and David Beavers and Don Rathman and Mike Ewald and Guy DeBoo and Michelle Barnett and Mick and Jenny Daly, just a lot, and Harriet. And I asked them, you know, what was the key to you overcoming your fear of this business being something you didn't know how to do, maybe something you'd never done before, where you were just out getting a few customers. That's how Lori and I started. We got 38 customers our first month, hit our goal of her making $1,000 so she could stay at home. What kept you from stopping there to taking a hold of the real strength of this business, which is the power of the people? What made you see that and go from being just a few customers with a small part-time income to building a business that changed your family for generations to come? And you know what? Every one of them. There's a little bit of variety, like Mike and Karen Ewald. With Mike's medical background, he wanted to see the research, so there was a little bit of skepticism until he saw the science. And Wendy was the same a little bit as a nurse. But every one of them said the same thing. They went to a Juice Plus Live, an event where they heard somebody sharing their journey of what they had gone through to build a business that had changed their family forever. And you know what they saw? They saw that person was amazing and, you know, resilient, and they overcame obstacles. There were valleys and peaks in their journey, but every one of them, they said, you know what? If that person can do it, I can do it. There was no unique skill that one person had, whether it was a medical degree or just the work ethic of a carpenter like Bob and Sue Burdick, dropped out of high school. It was seeing that someone else could do this, and if they could do it, I could do it. That was the light bulb that went off. Jay Martin cast that kind of vision into our life. And you know, you can change that soundtrack that's playing in your head, totally. And as we've got Travis, our new CEO, this is the soundtrack I want you to play. I want us to go where no one has gone before. I want us to take this business to a new level where we can realize the true benefits of a business like ours. And you know, Jay Martin, he did that for Lori and I. We trusted him. We walked behind him. You know, how many people, it'd be like, you know, somebody's going to teach you how to play baseball. Well, they had made they'd taken 6 baseball bats and cut them up with spokes and made a steering wheel. Jay didn't do that, but Jay we were following him into a direct sales industry, network marketing industry, where our company had created a hybrid, but we knew he knew what he was talking about. He actually had a car with a saucepan welded as his hood ornament when he was in the pots and pans business, calling on people door to door, telling stories, sharing the benefits, and selling a product. And we followed him. He created a vision statement to build a stable and lasting company, a stable and lasting company that would help as many people as possible realize their dreams. And every time I sit down and share this business with somebody, that's what I'm doing. Jay imparted that opportunity to me and Lori, and those 38 customers we got the first month turned into 13 people that said, you know what, if Curt and Lori are doing something that's going to change their life and have the impact of Lori being able to stay at home, I want to see what they're doing. So 13 of those customers looked at our business. 8 said no and 5 said yes. And that was when we turned a corner, following Jay's lead, trusting him. I remember my mom saying, I'm going full-time in this business. I'll go full-time in this business as soon as I believe and Jay can convince me that this business will be around for my grandkids. And Jay did that for her after she joined us later, after Lori and I got started. And you can trust that. And we made a decision after 38 customers and 5 joining us in the business that someone, not our upline, because they didn't understand, but our upline's upline said, you need to be a national marketing director. Y'all are doing pretty good at this. So we didn't know what national marketing director was. We found out we wanted the benefits, the medical benefits for our family, the college tuition reimbursement. I mean, even today we get massages paid for, but with our benefits package, we get up to $3,000 a month of expense allowance. It's called business investment bonus or business incentive bonus now. But once we understood that, it changed our vision. We plugged into the power. It wasn't me and Lori getting customers by ourselves. We plugged into the power source. She made national marketing director 8 months after we signed up. I made national marketing director the 14th month after we signed up, and we've never looked back. Just think about that small vision of $1,000 a month. It's over 50. It's 50, all 50 states now and over 20 countries around the world. But you know what? Today, what's so cool is I feel like it's like Jay Martin all over again. We have an amazing new leader. Travis Garza is our new CEO. He's got incredible experience in this industry, and he's taking the current generation to places they've never gone before. We're walking behind him, seeing him lead. He didn't just jump in here as an accountant or an engineer. No, I don't know that he ever had a pot or a pan welded to his hood, but he's been in the trenches. He's even owned a company with a friend, partners, where they had 500, I think, a telemarketing organization or a call center where they supported direct sales companies. Like we call in and need help and our customers need help. He did that. Plus he's been in the industry for over 20 years as an executive and CEO and president, being a visionary. And I will tell you this, Travis, I think of myself, and people say that, how do you have so much energy? I get up at 4 every day, and sometimes I do feel like the ever 80 bunny, you got to turn me off so I can go to sleep. But I don't think I could keep up with Travis. Not only is he an amazing leader, but he's setting the pace. His work ethic is unbelievable, and just love he and his wife Heidi, and I feel privileged to be on the ship where he's the captain, and it's a good feeling right now, and excited where we're going to go. One of the things that both Jay and he said, Jay said it, you need a buddy. You need a buddy. You got to have somebody to do this with you. You need a buddy. And I think, I used to think when Jay said that, you need a buddy. Travis says it takes two. When Jay said you need a buddy, my initial interpretation of that was, I just need to find somebody that, that can do this with me, whether it's sideline, upline, somebody that we can put our arms around each other. But I think there was so much more to it than just getting a buddy. I think it's important to have somebody so you don't feel like you're doing it alone. But you know what Jay knew? I think in his brilliant wisdom and experience, maybe it was in that moment he was welding that pot to the hood of his car. But he said, you need a buddy. You know why you need a buddy? Because most people don't understand the power of this business, that it's not having a great product and doing it alone. It's sharing it with someone else that'll take on this vision and mission with you. And the whole buddy, everybody can understand, get a buddy, have a buddy, get a buddy. But everybody doesn't understand the power of building a team and of multiplying our business. And so I think Jay said get a buddy so you would recruit that first person to join your team. It was that understanding of that first step. And then if that buddy got a buddy, the multiplication process would begin. And I just want to say right now, as much as we're plugged into screens in social media, which are both amazing tools. And I'm a gadget nut. I mean, I have an Apple Watch on, an iPhone in front of me, an iPad right here, an Apple Pencil. I got 2 screens. I mean, I love technology. I can talk to Siri. I won't say her name right now, and she'll do just about anything I want her to do. So I love technology. But you and a screen does not mean you have a buddy. It's you and another human being. Don't think you can partner with the computer screen and not have relationships and get what you want out of this business. The computer screen and that technology can enhance, make you more efficient, and increase your capacity to have those relationships. But the goal is the relationships. Okay? Let me tell you a quick story that I think will empower you in a new way. It's a story about an apple. You know, all of us can cut open an apple and we can see how many seeds are in that apple, right? And I don't know if you know this or not, but the average number of seeds in an apple is 5. But you know what? You look at those seeds, and you can't, I can't. Only God can tell you how many apples are in a seed. You can see how many seeds are in an apple, but only God can tell you how many apples in a seed. And a seed can produce 300 apple trees. And if you did 5 seeds, 1 apple, times 300 would be 1,500 trees, times 5 would be so many more apples, times trees. So you'd end up, you take 1 apple, you could easily get to over 2 million apples from the 5 seeds in that 1 apple. And what I want you to see is you have right there what you need. So if you look at some stats that Sean shared with me, let's stick with the apple as our image in our head. If you go out and get a customer and add them to your business, that has a 1x impact on your business. So you get a customer, you grow your business by a factor of 1. Just grasp that for a second. Think about the seed analogy. If you go out and get a buddy to join you, 1 buddy to join you in your business, that has a 5x, a 5 times impact on the growth of your business. It increases it 5 times. And if you can teach that buddy to get a buddy, it has a 30x multiple, a 30x growth factor on your business if you just learn how to do that in a very simple way. That's the power of understanding what you have in this business. You know, I like to think Travis talks a lot about households, and I love our mission of inspiring healthy living around the world. One of the ways I think about doing it faster is what if our mission statement was inspiring healthy households around the world? You know, everybody knows, not nobody, everybody knows that you can't eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. You have to eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. You can't eat the whole elephant. But you know what? Nobody tells you how big a bite you can take. If your goal is to go get 1 customer at a time, you bite smaller bites out of the elephant. One of the ways you can work smarter is let's go out and inspire healthy families. How many of you know or think a lot of people have this narcissistic approach in life? Do you run into this kind of people a lot where you go out and you share Juice Plus with somebody, they get all excited? No, I don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. Do they say, I want to order Juice Plus, I don't care about my spouse, I don't care about my kids, I just want it for me? No, they don't say that because there are not that many narcissistic people in the world. Most of them are making a decision for a healthier household. So let's go after households instead of individuals. That's one way we can grow faster. But it's still, this whole recruiting thing, this whole understanding of the power of network marketing is so new to us. It's like my son-in-law, Clay. My daughter, Hope, is almost 8 months pregnant with child, and we're super excited about our new granddaughter that's going to come right around Christmas. But when Clay, who has never done anything like this before, he may mask up, be totally uninterested in this new process because it's so new to him. He doesn't get it, so he's going in with this fear and trepidation. And I just thought this was a funny picture because when I had my first child, someone sent me a T-shirt to wear, and it was me as a new dad putting the bottle in the wrong end of the body, if you get my picture. So when we do something new, there's hesitancy, there's unknown, maybe you think it's fragile, you're going to break it, you don't know what you're doing. So what do? You wait again. This whole process brings us back to the waiting game. And we don't need to wait. There's this story that Russell Conwell's told over and over and over again as he traveled around the world. And it's about this Arabic man in Africa. And he had a farm and he plowed it and he had a wife and kids. And one day this priest came by and said, "Why are you working so hard? You're just barely subsisting, surviving, striving. Why don't you go out and find a diamond? Have you not heard the stories? If you go find one diamond the size of your thumb, your family would be set for life, for generations." So instead of the hard work, right there in this land that he owned, he sold the land, sent his wife and kids to stay with someone, and he went off around the world to venture and find a diamond. The story didn't end well, and I'm not the greatest storyteller, but he ended up losing everything and jumping into a river and surrendering his life, and he drowned. Well, his farm got sold, and the new person that bought it had been plowing and farming and doing what he did. And one day the priest comes by and says, "Are you the new owner of," I think the guy's name was Alif or Ali or something. I've got his name, but I forgot it at this moment. It did start with an A. True story. And the priest comes back by and says, "Are you the new owner?" And the guy says, "Yes." And he had been plowing, and he found these black stones, and they were everywhere. They were breaking his plow. But one of them he had seen across the river, and it had a little sparkle to it. He thought it was cute, so he put it on his mantle. And the priest comes by, and the priest just zones in. "What is that shiny thing on your mantle?" "Oh, it's a rock. There are hundreds or thousands of them in the field. I can't even plow my land. There's so many rocks. I just pile up these black rocks. But that one had a sparkle to it. I thought it was kind of cute." And the priest said, "That's a diamond." He said, "No." And they polished it, and it came to fruition, and the man's wealth was unbelievable. He had diamonds galore. It became the largest diamond mine in Africa, where the royal queens of England and stuff would buy their diamonds. And the moral of that story, for us today, I think, is that we have right beneath our feet what we're looking for. We just have to take advantage of it. We just have to know that it's there. You see, if you're in this business and you've mastered the art of customer acquisition, that's awesome. You're changing lives. But you're limiting yourself to the business you could build for you and your family. I had a friend of mine. I was trying to look for a visual or a picture, and this was my best thing I could think of. My friend Andrew owns a construction company. I said, "Andrew, what happens if you don't plug your saw in?" And he sent me this picture. And there's so many of us. You've got your hand on a saw that's amazing and powerful and change. 3 generations of my family, full-time income from this business. This company has paid my family millions of dollars just in benefits and insurance, in my 36 years with this company. And it was a little easier back then when I started. My application fee 36 years ago was $40. It's $52 now, so it's $12 harder. But you guys have cell phones and email. I had to use a fax machine and a pager. So I think we're even. I think my $12 was worth it that I saved. But this is what some of you are doing. You're out there building a customer base by yourself, and there's an extension cord on the saw you're using, and you didn't know how to plug it into the power source. And let me leave you with maybe an application that'll help you. When you walk out the door and start this business, the easiest thing to me is for us to be enamored and in awe of this amazing product that we have. We should be grateful. I have an attitude of gratitude that it's flooding in the blood of my entire family, of 4 generations in my family. But I also know that for a lot of us, the fact that this product, literally, number 1 whole food nutrition product in the world, most researched nutritional product in the world. The fact that we have that, we get so enamored that it blinds us of the awesomeness of this business. And so we go out and we get customers. Now, you may go out and get a ton of customers and build an amazing cash flow for yourself. But if you want to create the generational, life-changing income, Jay Martin built a company he built a stable and lasting company to help as many people as possible realize their dreams. And one of the things I've heard Travis say is, he said, once I realized how many people around the world have built a business where they're feeding their families, paying their mortgages, buying cars, sending their kids to private schools, taking trips, vacations, taking care of elderly parents from the fruits of this business. He said, not only do we want to have a stable and lasting company, that was Jay Martin's vision, and he did that. He said, I want to make sure that everybody understands how we can create reliable income for you and your families for generations to come. Reliable income. And I want to challenge you. It's just a mindset change, I believe, for you to go from manually using that saw with your arm muscle back and forth across that piece of wood to plugging into the power source. To be grateful for the business you have, not going out around the world finding diamonds to know they're right beneath your feet. It's a mindset change. This is the secret sauce that I think I learned by working for my mom, driving a truck in the direct sales industry, watching and observing. I saw the power of what could happen. I saw my mom not doing it alone. And the mindset change was this. Instead of you walking out today going after the next customer, what if your number one goal, your priority for your Juice Plus business was to go find the 5 amazing people, amazing leaders to build this business with you? Buddy 1, Buddy 2, Buddy 3, Buddy 4, Buddy 5. Teach them each to get buddies. We got 5 our first month. If you go out and build that, if you find 5 amazing leaders, you can be a national marketing director, plug into all the leadership benefits, the expense allowance, college tuition, major medical, all that's available to you. But you're not going to stop until you find those 5 people. Some of you may get 6 and you found your right 5. Some of you are going to get 20 to find your right 5. But you don't stop with that as your mission and your mindset until you find those 5 people. And you say, yeah, but Curt, I got to get customers. Yes, you do. But guess what? Do you really believe that everybody you share the business with, and by the way, you can't share the business without sharing the product, because the product is the foundational core of what we sell in our business today. So you share the product as part of sharing the business. Everybody doesn't get in the business so they become a customer, but you stay focused on finding your 5 so you can build the business you want for you and your family. If you go out and just focus on the next customer, you may never find any of the 5. But if you leave this video or presentation or Facebook Live or wherever you watch this, and you make a decision right now that in my Juice Plus business, the only thing I have to do is keep searching until I find those 5 people, and don't stop until I do, and I can reach the top. I can get the benefits of the leadership. I can create reliable income. There are people in our business that make $500 a month and $500 an hour and everywhere in between. What do you want from this business? I know the one thing that I wanted was I wanted to stop trading hours for dollars so that I could make a life, not just a living. And what I learned was, and what's been manifested, is I can make money tomorrow off what I did today. I can make money next week off what I did last week. I can make money next month off what I did last month, because I'm not just selling product, I'm building people. And people are our number. We're in the people business, and we just happen to sell the number 1 selling product in the world. And what I can tell you is, I can right now remember having a cup of coffee on Thanksgiving morning at 6 a.m. at Dunkin' Donuts over 30 years ago, meeting an amazing individual, investing in his life, iron sharpening iron, and I've never missed a month in 36 years being paid off the organization and team that he built to fulfill our mission of inspiring healthy living around the world. A cup of coffee 36 years ago. So you can make money tomorrow off what you did today, next week off what you did this week, next month off what you did last month, next year off what you did last year. And because I'm wise with my gray hair and I've been in this business a long time, I can promise you that you can make money in the next decade off what you did decades in the past. That's the power you have to plug into. That's the mindset you have to master this business. It really is time for the waiting game to be over. You just need to plug into the power source, change your mindset, and you can make a life, not just a living, and build life-changing generational income for you and your family. Thanks for joining today. Hope you have a wonderful day, and God bless.